For the Cleveland Browns, the 1973 schedule began at home. Nearly 75,000 jammed the huge lakefront stadium on a beautiful afternoon to watch the Browns play the Colts in the new season's first football game. Against Baltimore, Mike Phipps, the Browns' young quarterback, threw 2 touchdown passes to Frank Pitts to lead the offense. On defense, Cleveland gave rookie Burt Jones a rude welcome to the NFL. The quarterback was sacked 5 times, and the Colts netted merely 4 yards passing the entire game. Cleveland had its first win of the new season, 24-14. The season's second game was in Pittsburgh, where offensive failure contributed to a sound defeat by the Steelers. The next week against the Giants, New York led 10-0 at the half. Then new middle linebacker Bob Babich was turned loose for the first time. The Browns shut out the Giants in the second half, and Don Cockcroft kicked 4 field goals for the only points in a 12-10 comeback victory over New York. The season's 4th game was with intrastate rival Cincinnati. For the first time, Cleveland established its ground game as Leroy Kelly paced the team by scoring twice. It was the Browns' 5th straight regular season victory over the Bengals. Next came Miami in the Monday night game. Determined to avenge a narrow defeat in the playoffs the year before, the defense clamped down on Bob Griese and the Dolphins like a vice. Late in the 4th quarter, the Browns trailed by a single point. Then one big play by Mercury Morris turned the tide. The Browns lost 17-9, and Don Shula's team continued its inexorable march to the Super Bowl. But Nick Scoridge's determined defense gained national stature by giving mighty Miami all it could handle. In Game 6, in jumping to a 28-0 lead, Cleveland gained 17 first downs to none for Houston. The offense, too, caught fire and exploded for 6 touchdowns. In this game, Cleveland unveiled a devastating 5-man ground attack led by fullbacks Ken Brown and Bo Scott. Rookie Greg Pruitt added excitement in his longest appearance at halfback, and Billy LaFleur broke loose in his first opportunity of the year. But it was the old pro, Leroy Kelly, who led all backs, averaging 6.5 yards a carry. Cleveland's statistics were overwhelming. They outran Houston 264 yards to 23 and outscored them 42-13. The next Sunday, on a rainy day, it took a great play by Pruitt, shaking off a face mask tackle and reversing his field to gain a tie with San Diego. Cleveland had discovered a pint-sized new hero, but the tie was a severe blow to the team, for the next game was in Minnesota against the Vikings. Despite a flu-weakened defense, Cleveland stalked Fran Tarkington and the Vikings at every turn. Late in the final period, Cleveland trailed 3 field goals to 1, but 2 sensational plays led to a Viking victory. Next was a rematch with Houston. Greg Pruitt exploded for a long touchdown, and the Browns were once again back in the race in the AFC Central. But the road ahead was rugged. All 5 remaining games were with contenders. First, the Raiders in Oakland, then the Pittsburgh Steelers, Kansas City Chiefs, Cincinnati Bengals, and Los Angeles Rams. The first obstacle in Cleveland's survival test was Oakland. The only touchdown came when Mike Phipps hit Fairhooker with a perfect pass over Willie Brown. A key factor in this game was the booming punts of Don Cockcroft. They kept the Oakland offense backed up against its own goal line most of the day. In the muddy trenches of the Oakland Coliseum, Cleveland's defense shut off the Raiders' running attack, sacked Kenny Stabler 5 times, and shut out the NFL's #1 offense until the final minutes. In a bruising battle, the Browns had won the first game in the rugged stretch run to the playoffs. Next, the first-place Steelers came to Cleveland for one of pro football's bitterest rivalries. Once again, the Cleveland defense was magnificent. 4 times they stopped Franco Harris short of a first down, and they constantly hounded and harassed the Pittsburgh passing attack. Pittsburgh managed to score only a single touchdown the entire game. And after Greg Pruitt beat Andy Russell coming out of the backfield, the Browns led 14-7 at the half. But when Pittsburgh kicked 3 field goals, the score dissolved to 16-14 late in the 4th quarter. And now, with just 2 minutes left, Mike Phipps performed one of the greatest plays by any quarterback anywhere. It turned certain defeat into sudden victory for the Browns. Now with the ball on the 19 and 1 minute 1 second showing on the clock, number 66, Gene Hickerson, playing in his final home game, delivered the block that sprung Greg Pruitt for the coup de grace. The 21-16 thriller was Pittsburgh's 9th consecutive loss in Cleveland and was the Browns' 3rd straight victory. It gave them a record of 7 wins, 3 losses, and a tie, and propelled them to within half a game of first place. The following week, Cleveland came to Kansas City and trailed most of the game. In the fourth quarter, with just over 6 minutes to play, Cleveland was behind 20-6. But as he had done the week before against Pittsburgh, little Greg Pruitt came to the rescue in dazzling style. Pruitt's 65-yard touchdown brought Cleveland to life, and the next time they got the ball, Milt Morin, running through people like a wounded water buffalo, went 51 yards for a touchdown. It was the sweetest tie in Cleveland's history and kept the team in the thick of the race for the Central title. The showdown came in Cincinnati. For Cleveland to make the playoffs, there was only one way. They had to beat the Bengals. But Isaac Curtis burned the Browns for 3 touchdowns, and Cleveland trailed by 21 points. Late in the third quarter, Billy LaFleur began a drive by returning a kickoff 59 yards. Moments after, on 4th down, Mike Phipps threw to Gloucester Richardson for Cleveland's first touchdown. 99 seconds later, Boobie Clark fumbled, and Van Green went 21 yards to score. It looked like another Cleveland miracle was in the making. The Browns now trailed by 1 touchdown. But a costly interference call in the Cincinnati end zone proved to be the clincher. Cleveland had run out of miracles. In 1973, defense was the byword, as the Browns had their best in more than a decade. The man that made the difference was Bob Babbage. When the hometown hero was acquired in a trade, it was the end to years of searching for the right man in the middle, as his strength and speed made Bob Babbage a disruptive force anywhere on the field. The price was high, but Bob Babbage filled a major need for Cleveland. His presence in the middle between tackles Jerry Shirk and Walter Johnson made the Browns a tough team to run against. The Browns have long been proud of their pair of quality defensive tackles. Number 71, super strong Walter Johnson, and super quick Jerry Shirk, number 72. Shirk, in his 4th season, was named to the Pro Bowl. The ends were free-spirited Joe Jones on the left side and steady Nick Roman on the right. Together they provided a strong rush on enemy quarterbacks. One of the quickest linemen in the game, Turkey Jones, played with the reckless abandon needed to gobble up quarterbacks. Nick Roman has come a long way since his days as a free agent. His 4th season was by far the best for the former Ohio State Buckeye. A regular at outside linebacker for the first time, John Garlington made the most of his quickness and fine pursuit to become an outstanding tackler. Number 59 is rugged Charlie Hall, a future All-Pro. The head-high tackle is his trademark. The Browns' big pride is their talented secondary. The veteran is Ben Davis, number 28, wise in the ways of stripping interference against a much bigger man, and occasionally getting both the blocker and the runner all in one. Last season, Davis shared cornerback duties with Cliff Brooks, number 23, a talented sophomore who was the Browns' second-round pick in '72. Coming off the bench to surprise everyone was Lean Van Green, number 21. At the season's end, he was a starter and teamed with number 27, Tom Darton, at safety. Green is a headhunter and first made his mark on the Suicide Squad, resembling a missile seeking a place to explode. When Van Green is on the field, everyone knows it. Green's partner at safety is another hitter, Tom Darton. Cleveland's first draft pick 2 years ago continued to make the choice a sound one. The big man of the backfield is Clarence Scott, Cleveland's All-Pro. A first-round pick 3 years ago, Scott has become one of the best cornerbacks in the game. Because winners are built with defense in the NFL, the Browns have a strong foundation for the future. Offensively, things didn't always go as planned in the season of '73. This was the year Mike Phipps became the great escape artist. Strong, fast, and clever with a ball tucked under his arm, Phipps is the best runner at quarterback the Browns have ever had. In his second season as a starter, Phipps used all the athletic ability his life body possessed when he pulled off the greatest escape of all against the Steelers. Despite the extra dimension his running brings to the offense, the young quarterback's true value to his team is his powerful throwing arm. For Mike Phipps can propel a football 60 yards through the air into the waiting arms of a receiver. In 1973, Phipps continued to learn and grow as a professional quarterback. His receivers were Fair Hooker, number 43, on the left side, and Frank Pitts, number 25, on the right. The best of them all, however, was the tight end, Milt Moran, with his fine hands and devastating power. For Bo Scott, the season was one of injury and illness. Another fullback, Hugh McInnes, came from Canada as their leading runner. The powerful rookie is a highly regarded prospect for 1974. Getting most of the attention at fullback was number 30, hard-working, hard-running Kenny Brown. Brown used his strong legs and low profile to become the Browns' leading runner in '73. Cleveland's great superstar Leroy Kelly continued at halfback. For the first time, the team had exceptional depth behind him in Greg Pruitt and Billy LaFleur, number 26. The two tiny backs gave the Browns their best kick returning since the days of Bobby Mitchell. LaFleur has the speed to match Pruitt and the size to match Kelly. His future with the Browns is a bright one. But the real crowd pleaser was super rookie Greg Pruitt. Pruitt was drafted to inject speed. The only question, his size. Yet, in his first season as a pro, he proved with his lightning feet and firefly moves, he could do it all. The muscular little man from Oklahoma excelled not only as a runner, but coming out of the backfield as a receiver, he showed sure hands. His finest day came in the big game with the Steelers. It was Pruitt's 2 touchdowns that beat them. As the heir apparent to Leroy Kelly, Greg Pruitt is the most exciting new talent in Cleveland in a long, long time. So the old guard changes. 16 years of pro football ended for Gene Hickerson, one of the greatest blockers to play the game. His successor is at hand. Pete Adams won a regular job before an injury ended his season. The other top pick is Steve Holden, a receiver with the potential to be a superstar. It is these youngsters, along with Greg Pruitt and Billy LaFleur, last year's second pick Jim Steinke, linebacker Jim Romanishian, and others like Tom Darton, Clarence Scott, and Van Green, Bob Babbage, Charlie Hall, Bob McKay, Doug Deacon, Hugh McInnes, and Mike Phipps, who will make the future glow. And when the gates open to the '74 season, the Cleveland Browns will be recharged and rededicated to making the playoffs and climbing back on top where they belong.